Hey, my best friends! Allenpallen here, and in today's video, we are going to be doing how I wore my makeup in high school, part 2. For anybody who did miss it, I'll leave it linked down below. I did this before. Part 1 was more of my freshman into sophomore year. I had my emo going into scene phase, and now part 2 is going to be like junior year going into senior year. From emo to scene, I transitioned kind of into like hippie-ish, kind of preppy, and then like what I thought was really preppy. Just like most things in life, I of course was extravagant as possible. And by that, I basically mean oftentimes I would have to start preparing my look the day prior. Starting with my hair, a lot of times I would wet braid it, let that sit overnight, and then in the next following day, I would take this 3-barrel waver and kind of crimp it, make it all beachy and wavy. I'll include a picture or two right here of what my hair, I guess, would have looked like. But on top of preparing my hair, a lot of times I would also do a spray tan. Actually, this one in specific, I would only go regular tanning anywhere from 0 to like 2 times a month. I thought I was doing something, but I would also use this Neutrogena Micro Mist. It's a sunless spray tan. I'm not sure if they still come this way, but I actually used to buy this in a 2-pack. So what I would do a day or two prior to school is I would layer this on every like 10 or 20 minutes whenever it would dry. I would go through like an entire bottle, okay? And then for maintenance, I would use the second bottle, and every day before school, I would just give myself a little spritz. Of course, we are gonna try and make this experience as realistic as possible, so I am gonna go ahead and give myself a spray tan right now. I'm probably gonna use this whole bottle. But just like high school, I'm gonna focus this mostly on my face and my arms, because honestly, if it's not showing, who really cares about it? This product does take 2 to 4 hours to develop. I think it actually develops more overnight. We'll definitely check in on it on the 2 to 4 hour mark. And if it is dark enough, we'll kind of pick it up from there. But basically over the next hour, I'm just gonna kind of layer this all over my face and my arms every 10 minutes or so, until the bottle's gone. Hi. All right, besties, it's been about 3 hours or so since we applied our little spray tan situation. I did, in fact, make it through the entire can. I love that for me. This will actually probably get darker as the night progresses, but for sake of finishing this video outside, we're losing daylight, so we're gonna finish it now. I actually migrated to the front of my house just to catch that last little bit of sun. Thankfully, though, you guys can get a general idea of what I look like, kind of tan. But yes, just know it will in fact darken later. It's already very splotchy. As you can see, there are 50 shades of Pallen. So aside from the horrible spray tan, another couple things that were necessary to the Pallen aesthetic. Just like before, I would wear these little headband things, help keep my hair in check. Of course, it was a different style than when I did my previous how I got ready in high school. And this, I would wear these near the beginning of this phase that I'm explaining to you right now. But then after fact, I wouldn't wear that, I guess. I would always spray this in my hair. I would use gels once in a while, but this has always worked best with me, no matter what kind of hairstyle I'm doing, whether it would be spiking my hair up, locking in some waves. This was always my go-to, and I would actually use heat tools right on top of this. I would usually have a little tote bag and carry around all these little necessities. In that tote bag, I would have some sunglasses, the bigger the better. I don't know, I like to play up the fact too that I was a bad kid, you know, I smoked, so I was like, but yeah, I always thought I was cute and trendy. I had some very obviously fake Dolce & Gabbana sunglasses when I was younger, and it was a good time. With that being said, other things that would be in my bag would be like cigarettes, lighters, a comb, makeup, which we're about to dive into because this is, after all, how I wore my makeup in high school. So yeah, I think we ought to dive into that. I think they were just happy for me to be getting out of the whole emo goth stage, but my family was like more accepting of this aesthetic, and I mean, I get it. It was kind of like probably shocking at first, and it wasn't even really the look. It was just like, you know, some of the behaviors. But what I will say is my behavior and actions and morals were better when I was the loner scene emo goth kid than they were as like the preppy person, because the preppy Allen just kind of wanted to fit in, and he was easily manipulated and he made poor decisions. So I don't know, I was just trying to fit in, I guess. But I would use, and I was a bad bitch and I was like a diva. That was very important also, because I was kind of like but yes, I would, as I'm doing right now, fill in my eyebrows. I wouldn't have like a twist up thing. I would just have like a pencil one, and I would have to chip away little pieces of it. But I would just like really color them in. Unfortunately, I don't have a mirror for this, I don't think, because nothing I brought out here has a mirror in it. But I would do them really dark, really thick. Granted, I plucked them, so they were really thin, and then I kind of drew them on really thick. I don't know. I would use usually a darker color, whereas now I pick something that's like a little more natural, not as obvious. But so now we're just kind of really like, I would have no remorse. Through this stage of my life, I mean, to my friends and stuff, I was nice and caring, but I wasn't really proud of myself, you guys. I was kind of mean to people, and I did it to make myself feel better about who I was, and looking back on that, I'm not impressed. Through my whole life, I was also really shy, and that's why it was so weird that I was so extravagant out there in high schools, because like I was also so shy at the same time. So I don't know, like it never really made sense to me, but everything I did, no matter what trend, I was always just like full blown, like 100% into it. Like I would just get obsessed. I'm not gonna say there's anything wrong with becoming obsessed with something, because I'm like obsessed with YouTube and stuff like that. But if you're gonna be obsessed with something, make it something worthwhile. Don't get obsessed with being a person or doing things that are negative. Be obsessed with good and positive and fun and happy and love and friendship and good stuff. Spray my imaginary hair. I like to scrunch it up. In terms of face makeup, once in a while I would get not a liquid foundation, but one of those foundations in the circular large pots. Usually you would use a flat sponge and kind of dab it on. I would get one that was like a shade or two too dark, because I was trying to be all Miss Tan thing. And obviously I'm a man. I just sometimes talk like that. I've had like a couple people ask me questions, and I mean, I guess it's really nobody's business, but I just talk like that, you guys. Like, I don't know. I don't see a problem with it. But even on the days where I wouldn't put on this foundation, I guess we're calling it, I would, no matter what, use a bronzer. And if I couldn't find a bronzer, I would buy a dark colored powdered foundation. And no matter what, you guys, it was just way too dark, and I looked ridiculous. And I would have so many different colors on me. Like my face would be so dark, my arms would be like pretty dark but splotchy, and my legs would look white. Like we had swimming in high school, and I just looked nuts. For bronzer today, we're gonna go in with the Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer. This is in shade Wet Shady Beaches. This is just one of the darker bronzers that I own. I don't own anything nearly as dark as something I would have bought in the past, so we're just gonna have to make do with this. Just like before, we're gonna take a very, very generous amount, and we're gonna slather it on my face. No, definitely go in with at least 3 layers. My skin texture would be absolutely ridiculous. Anytime I would wear something white or a very light color around the neck and around the arms, it would just be ruined. it would look like I dropped it in a pile of mud. I think a lot of the reason why I started becoming such like a better person around, I guess, this age is, I don't know. I feel like I was hurt a lot growing up. I had a lot of disappointments and a lot of things that I guess like constantly bothered me. I don't want to get too into that right now, but I wouldn't mind talking about certain things more in the future, I guess. And I think that just being bitter and a see you next Tuesday was just my way of taking the pain away from myself and just kind of passing it on, I guess. Even if other people somehow manage to make it work or make a image out of themselves for being a female dog, don't ever let that persuade you to pass your anger and your emotions onto other people, because that's not the way to deal with it. And honestly, even though you pass it on to somebody else, you still have to deal with it yourself in the long run. As mentioned, I would just continue to layer on my makeup throughout the day. But the only other really important thing, unless I'm forgetting something, is I would take the lightest powdered foundation possible. I understand that this is translucent, but back then I didn't care. I would just grab wherever I could. This is all I have. So this is what I would do. I would take some of that powder. I would either take a little brush, because I had a dispenser that had a little brush, or I would just use my finger, but I would go straight into that powder. And I would do this multiple times throughout the day as well, but I would just like put it on top of my eyelids mostly. I would put a little around the perimeters. I feel like, I don't know why I did this. I feel like maybe it just made me look like I was out in the sun with my sunglasses. I thought it really just woke me up. I guess in a sense, maybe I was trying to mimic things I saw like on the internet. You know, girls or guys with just that airbrushed look, and I thought this was how you achieved it, I guess. I would never really watch makeup tutorials or other people do makeup. I just thought I knew everything and would just do it my way, I guess. Not gonna lie, I still do that. I just kind of go for things. I don't read instructions, but I don't go into it now thinking I know what I'm doing. I'm fully aware that I don't know what I'm doing. There's a big difference. Now that I look super cray curry, this is in fact the final look. Do though imagine it very much more dark in the face, but there would be very much also a line of discoloration or demarcation or whatever that word is, where they don't jumble together. Between my previous video and this video, obviously my current aesthetic is closer to what we did today, but this is more, I guess, like normal face makeup. But I don't know, I'm very much now, of course, the your skin but better type of guy. I've expressed that in like all my makeup videos and my skincare videos. With that being said, I actually care about skincare more than makeup, and you guys know I'm just like a tinted moisturizer, a little bit concealer type guy. But I actually don't think this looks horrible. Like if it was all like, if this was blended out better and this was actually like my skin tone, like even if I had a nice spray tan and actually like was tan a little bit, like I don't think I look bad. Aside from all this, I would wear, I guess, the preppiest clothes possible. I would try to get my hands on Hollister, Abercrombie & Fitch, blah blah blah. I also like tie-dye, stuff like that. I like my jeans to have holes in them. I like to wear flippy floppies. As far as jewelry went, I would once in a while wear like hemp necklaces or beach style beaded themed things or bracelets. But yeah, aside from that, that pretty much sums up my whole aesthetic. I know I was a little hard on myself today, but I just kind of want to be open and honest, and yes, I want you guys to have an accurate representation of my life as a teenager, but this is also for me to look back at. If I had kids someday, they could look at this. People that know me in person could look at this, and they could just have like the most accurate visual possible. And while I was, yes, hard on myself, I also do believe though that like a lot of teenagers are little shits, rebellious, do bad things, have bad attitudes, you know, like I'm not perfect, nobody's perfect, a lot of people have done worse, some have done better, whatever. Like, I think it's really important to be honest with yourself and others, even if it means taking a little fault here and there. So, you know, that was me, I guess, back then, and just kind of like sitting around smoking and talking shit. Just like my whole life, I suffered mental health at that point too. It wasn't really intentional, but I think I had like eating disorder too, because I wouldn't eat breakfast, and then for lunch, the only thing I would do is really drink something. I would spend all my lunch money on smoke stuff. Where I was from, it was a small area, and a lot of times I was cut off from communication, so I would kind of like talk to whoever possible. I like talking to people online, and I sought out, I guess, like gratification from men. It's like my age, but then like, you know, a couple years older, like very young adult, and those type of people are not the people where you're a teenager you should be talking to. You should actually be more focused on your own life, like growing up and school and stuff. But those people are not in it for your best interest. Even though this video is definitely on the simple side, it was, as always, so much fun hanging out with you guys today. No matter what we do, you make it so much fun. I thought it was really important to do a part 2 to the getting ready in high school thing, just because it was something I promised. I like always, even if it takes me a while, always fulfilling those promises. And eventually, piece by piece, I'm just kind of doing what I wanted to do all along and map out my whole life. YouTube, you know, you let you guys get a snippet of everything, do more story times, more personable things, aside from all the fun. I like sharing stuff, so I hope you guys found today's video interesting. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm sure I left out a lot, and it was kind of like a blast to the past and a ramble. But thank you so much for being here today. I would love to know your guys' high school aesthetic. Maybe tell me something funny about your childhood or high school days. Let me know what kind of person you were. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. I'm so excited to wake up tomorrow and just hang out and film with you guys. We'll do something fun. I do in fact love you guys so very much, and I'll see you on my next video. Goodbye, everybody.